Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. One of my favorite things to try and imagine every time I pour one of my masterpieces out of bismuth, and I finally figured out the best way to pour this thing. I have struggled with it for a while because it's big. It's hard to pour into the mold, which looks like this. I for this one is the first one that I might sell for a good fraction of the price of silver. I can usually get 100 to 150 each for this. It's got about 40 to 50 pounds worth, $40 to $50 worth of bismuth in it. But this one I might get a good price for. No cracks in it, very smooth back. It doesn't want to peel away, right? Sometimes, depending on how you pour in your mold, it wants to peel away. But every time I get one of these masterpieces, I try to imagine what it would be like if this thing were solid silver. Because there was a time when bismuth was worth just as much as silver. It was during World War II, actually. To give you an idea, a lot of strategic metals were worth almost as much as silver. In fact, we stopped making nickels out of nickel and used silver instead of during that time. And bismuth actually was used in the atomic bombs that we dropped in Hiroshima and Nagasaki in the Initiator. See, up until between 1898 and up until 1937, all of the polonium 210 we had came from the Earth, right? It wasn't until 1937 did we discover that this stuff could be used to make polonium 210. And that's useful because polonium 210 has a half life of only 138 days. And also, there's very little of it in the Earth, right? Even in uranium ore, it's like 1 part per trillion or so. So by the time you get enough to put together a bomb, the stuff that you started with has already disintegrated. And so it wasn't until 1937 we discovered we could activate this stuff. Uh, and As a result, for a few months there, you could have pretended this thing was solid of silver, right? Just imagine that, right? I hope we don't go there anytime soon because I don't think too many people at the art shows that I sell at could afford to buy solid silver stuff, right? I did make a few things out of silver, but it was more of a curiosity at those art shows, right? There's no way I can move any of that at the art show. I'll have to see if I can silver plate stuff, right? That stuff I might be able to move. But think about that 1-to-1 ratio. And then in 1980, silver was worth 500 times more than. Try to imagine that. 1937, you take one of these and trade it for silver, and then some 53 years later in 1980, you get 500 of them back, right? 500x return in 53 years. I'll let you do the calculation of that, right? 50. A lot of people now have careers lasting 53 years. Imagine your retirement money multiplying 500 times, and that's after inflation because these are real commodities. This isn't 500 times more US dollars, right? I'll let you think about that, right? That's why I like to look at ratios because they tell you what people are actually preferring to what, right? Today, bismuth is still 40, 50 times cheaper than silver. I believe we're headed back to 1-to-1, if not lower, because a lot of the bismuth that existed during World War II, a lot of it was, well, taken as Pepto Bismol, right? Some of it was used in ammunition. Good luck trying to go metal detecting for that stuff, right? Some of it has literally gone into space, right? Some of it was turned into polonium 210. That stuff's definitely not coming back, right? The other stuff you might be able to scavenge back. And the same cannot be said for silver, right? A lot of that silver can still be recovered. It might take a little bit of muscle, but at the right price, it will come back, right? The same cannot be said with the bismuth. Anyway, just pretend this thing is silver, right? And just imagine for a second, right? All right, we got a little bit under a month to go before we try to hunt brothers this stuff. This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.